Bonsoir, mes amis et ma famille. Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler, and you are here for the next 1800 seconds on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. And I want to ask you something. When was the last time you changed your filter? Do you know how to change a filter? Do you know how often a filter should be changed? We're going to talk about it because I want to hear your feedback. I want to hear your response. I want to hear what you have to say. Of course, you know, this is Cutler for the next 1800 seconds. I'm with you in your house, in your car, in your living room, your family room, in the kitchen. You know, I love meeting you in the kitchen. If you're driving along in your car, just listen. Of course, if you want to pull over and watch them, you can do that too. But it's great seeing everybody. We already got when I tell you all to hear this evening, our LTTC VIPs are already in the room. Looks like a Zara, Jackie, and Lady. All right, but it's good to see all of you. It's good to see every one of you. Roselia, Linda, it's good to see all of you. Devin, good to see all of you all. Of course, as you all know, we're reading from, or at least we're not reading from, but the basis of our conversation is this book right here. This book, Billboards to Better. Do you know that this book contains 366 sources of motivation and inspiration for us along the highway of life? Make sure if you don't have it yet that you run over to Amazon.com and get it, or you run over to gbcutler.com and you get it. Grab your book because I think it will do you good. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think it'll do you good. It's so good to see all of you. It's so good to see everybody. Today is Tuesday. It is October. It's October already, October the 6th, 2020. And of course, you all know how we do it. On our Tuesday nights together, we read our Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday sources of motivation and inspiration. When we get to Thursday, we do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all day your way. All right, you all got me for 1800 seconds. Listen, I'm wired tonight. I'm really excited because we've got to talk about this. Filters. But before we do, I want to ask another question. How many best friends do you have? We're going to get to it, but I want you to go ahead and just write it there in the chat because I'm curious to know how many best friends do you have, or at least how many people would you consider as best friends? That's the question for the moment. How many best friends do you have? How many people would you consider best friend? We're going to get to that, all right? But before we do, let's go ahead and turn to we're going to get started because today is October the 6th, so that means we have to get caught up on the 4th, 5th, and the 6th. I hope everybody's having a great evening, all right? I'm going to go directly to October the 4th. I'm going to go to October I'm going to go to October the 4th because I want to hear about these filters. Do you know when did you change the filters? How often did you change the filter? All of that. And how many best friends do you have? I want to know those two things. I really do. So you all start chatting about it. We're going to talk about it, all right? So let's get directly to our source of motivation and inspiration for October 4th. October the 4th, the author writes, on the quest to your individual promised land, on the quest to your individual promised land, devote more of your attention to the opportunities, not the obstacles. Do the work, not the worrying. Do the work, not the worrying. I'm going to tell you all this. Right out of the gate, this is about learning how to see the good in each moment. It's about learning how to appreciate the joy along the journey. It's more about just being able to see the glass half full versus half empty. But it's about getting to those moments where you're holding a completely empty glass, but at least you see in the moment that you at least have a glass in your hand. It's about seeing the good in the moment. And even though you're holding an empty glass, it is about saying, I'm holding this glass, but I'm holding an opportunity to be filled. It's about driving down, and you all know I grew up in the South, and it's about driving down a dark road, but having the hope that a light is going to come, that I will see a light. And every now and then, driving down that dark road, you count your blessings because somewhere along that dark road, you saw a spark of light, you saw a spark of hope. It's about recognizing the good in the moment. This is about being able to turn some things up. Here we go. It's about being able to turn some things up, turn some things down, and shut some things off. You've got to know when to increase the volume and the frequency of some things in your life. 1800 seconds, you all. I'm here to just really help save somebody's life tonight. I really, really am. Because this is about, again, it's about knowing when to turn some things down, when to turn some things up, and when to shut the volume of some things completely off. You've got to know when to use the various gifts that are in your arsenal. You've got to know when to rely on one gift and when to give another gift a break. I'll get to it. It's going to make sense. I promise you. For example, there are times when I trust my sight more than I trust my hearing. I trust my sight more than I trust my hearing. For example, you all, if I'm driving along the highway, if I'm driving along the highway and all of a sudden the GPS says make a right, but I know my house is straight ahead, I'm going to ignore what I hear and focus on what I see. And it has to be that same way in life. If I'm hearing negativity, then what I'm going to say to the negativity or to the negative person is, I hear what you're saying, but I know what I see. And that's how it has to be in life. Sometimes you've got to turn down some of the gifts in your arsenal. You've got to say, you know what, I'm giving this one a break for a moment. And this one I'm going to use to its full capacity. So then, when I'm in life and I hear negativity, what I'm going to say is, oh, I hear what you're saying, but I believe more of what I'm seeing rather than what you're saying. And that's how it has to be in life. Let me see the good in the moment. Let me appreciate the good of what's happening to me. And sometimes I know, even if I'm driving along the highway of life, and I see all of these detours and I run into a detour, I've got to say there has to be some good in this moment. I'm going to inspire us. I hope it helps us to see the brighter side of life and the brighter side of things and the brighter side of our situations and circumstances. Because what I know to be true is this, that sometimes the detours that are in your life, they are meant to take you away from the things that mean you no good. We don't like detours along the highway when we're driving. We see this detour, we take the detour, and we fuss and cuss the whole time until we get all the way around, only to realize that that detour kept us from an accident. I'm telling you, it is the same way in life when we're driving along the highway of life. The detours, you all, the detours are sometimes meant to take us away from the things and the people that meant us no good. I don't despise the detours. I'm telling you, I do not despise the detours. When I'm on the highway of life, sometimes the potholes are meant to make me slow down so that I don't miss the things that God is trying to show me. I'm not talking about potholes when I'm actually driving, but I'm talking about the potholes in life that give us a bump and make us slow down. Those potholes, sometimes I only got 1,800 seconds, and I'm not here to just cut up and play with anybody tonight because I want us to be inspired. I know we hit those potholes in life, and you look at them as one thing, as a setback, but I'm telling you, sometimes the potholes in life, the things that will slow us down, they come to make us realize, they come to make sure that we don't miss the things that God and life are trying to show us. I get it. We don't like potholes on the highway. We don't like them at all. We don't like things that make us slow down. Even the unexpected traffic checks. Let me just deal with traffic checks for a moment. We don't like the unexpected traffic checks, but the unexpected traffic checks will remind you that you're doing the right thing. You're going the right way. Have you ever been stopped in an unexpected traffic check and then the officer walks up to you, tells you to roll the window down, only to discover that, oh, you're wearing your seatbelt? It is the same way in life. Sometimes those unexpected things that happen in life, they only come to remind you that you're doing the right thing. You're saying the right thing. You're acting the right way. You're on the right road. Don't you all despise these detours, these potholes, or even these unexpected traffic checks? What else happens to us in life? Sometimes we get flat tires. And what I know is that the flat tires that sometimes happen to us in life, not necessarily when we're on the highway in our car, but sometimes the flat tires in life will only remind us that we're strong enough to pull ourselves out of the depths and the despair of the lowest moments that we're dealing with in life. When you have a flat tire on your car, if you know how to get out and jack, you're really showing your strength. And it's the same way in life, you all. We think that we've run into a flat tire. Oh God, I got to deal with this flat tire. But the flat tires in life, sometimes they just show you how strong you are. and that you're strong enough to lift yourself out of the depths of despair. It doesn't matter what life throws your way. You say, I'm strong enough to handle this. What else happens while we're driving? Sometimes we even have breakdowns. We're driving and the vehicle that we're in will sometimes break down. And again, it is analogous to the same thing that happens to us in life. We have breakdowns, all kinds of breakdowns. Sometimes they are emotional breakdowns. Sometimes they are physical breakdowns. But just like those breakdowns when you're in your car, those breakdowns are meant to remind you that you're not traveling alone, that you're not traveling alone, and help is always there when you need it. I hope I'm helping somebody tonight. I told you I only got 1,800 seconds, but I need to make every second count tonight. Because as we're traveling, as we're traversing this thing that's called life, we get discouraged. But this conversation tonight says, on your quest to your individual promised land, you make sure that you devote more of your attention to the opportunities rather than the obstacles. Look at the good that's happening in the moment, because there is some good that's happening in your life. I don't care how bad life looks right now, there is good that's happening in your life. It's happening in your life. Learn to see the good in the moments you are. Learn to see the good in the moments. No, everything might not be all right, but guess what? Everything is not all wrong either. Examine your own lives. Examine your own lives. Everything might not be all right. I hope you all like this conversation on your way into the room tonight. I hope you did a thumbs up to this conversation. But I'm telling you this, everything might not be all right, but you examine your life and you discover that everything is not all wrong either. Even in this pandemic, everything is not all wrong. It's a matter of how you look at it. It's a matter of saying, I'm looking at the opportunities and not the obstacles. No, I'm not stuck inside. I'm stable inside. I'm not cramped in here. I'm kept in here. And it's just a matter sometimes of how you look at it. It's a matter of how you look at it. And I'm telling you this, I'm an introvert. So for me, I know how to energize in solitude. You make the best of a bad situation. You play the hand that you've been dealt. No, you might not win every book, but you won't lose every hand. That's for the card players out there. I'm telling you this. And in this moment, I want to ask you, in this moment, what good things are taking place in your life? Learn how to look at the good things and then capitalize on those good things that are taking place. It'll make some of the bad things look not so big, right? And I'm telling you that they tend to strike a balance in your life. Sometimes the bad show me how much more to appreciate the good. Do I ask for the bad? Absolutely not. But do I learn how to make the bad work out for my good? Yes, absolutely. I learn how to make, when I grab a glass that has nothing in it, and I think some could say, well, this is just an empty glass. But guess what? For me, it is an opportunity for God to fill my vessel. All right. I'm just trying to help us tonight. I'm trying to encourage us. I'm trying to motivate us and inspire us. I want you to feel good about the life that you're living. May not be all good, but I promise you, it is not all bad. It's not all bad. And I want you to see the good in your life, because sometimes there's a shadow that will hang over us and cause us only to see a shadow of ourselves. But guess what? Lurking somewhere in the shadow of me is the real me. And inside the real me, there is some good. All right. I need to get to October the 5th. I need to get to October the 5th. But I hope you all are feeling good about yourself, feeling better about yourself, just a little bit better than you were when you came in a few seconds ago. There is good in you. And don't let anybody tell you. And yes, you know how to focus on the good. Maybe we've been focusing on the bad, but tonight we are what? We are aligning and refining and fine-tuning our vision so that I can see the good in my life, because it is based on my faith that says to me, all things are going to work together for my good, even the bad, even the indifferent, even the ugly. And as you're driving along the highway of life, those detours, those potholes, the breakdowns, the flat tires, the unexpected traffic stops, all of those things, they help you to see the resilience inside of you and the strength inside of you and the determination inside of you that no matter what life throws my way, I will live. I will live. All right, I've got to get to October the 5th for you all, but I could stay right there. I could stay right there because I almost feel the strength of family as we're talking about this tonight. All right, because I'm reading your comments and I'm enjoying those. Let me go to October the 5th. October 5th says, one good person by your side can be worth more than a whole army in your face. One good person by your side can be worth more than a whole army in your face. And I'm telling you, y'all, I wrote that based on this story that's in the Bible, as I so often do. Jeremiah, there was a king called Zedekiah, and presumably Jeremiah had this king, and presumably the whole nation against him in his face. But it did not matter who was against him because God was by his side. I'm telling you all, get you one good person who will stand by your side, and that one good person is more than a whole lot of people who will stand in your face. What am I saying? This is all about appreciating people. It's about appreciating people, the good people, the very few good people. That's why I asked you in the outset, how many best friends do you have? Because I want to know, I want you to know that you have somebody standing by your side. However many friends you had and that you put there, if they're standing by your side, they mean more than the whole world that's against you. I'm telling you. And I want you to know this. I want you to have this understanding that you may have come into this world alone, but you don't have to make this journey by yourself. Let me say that again. You may have come in this world alone, but you don't have to make this journey all by yourself. You all know I often talk about the gifts and the talent and the resources that we all have in this life. But among those gifts, among those talents, among those resources, what you must understand is that you cannot forget people. When you look at gifts and talents and resources, don't forget to look at people, because one of your greatest assets, one of your greatest resources, one of your greatest strengths are people. And it really is. I'm seeing the comment, and it really is about quality over quantity. And you have to listen, you all. Let me just share, just be transparent. You have to learn how to vet and value the people that come into your life. What, Cutler, do you mean when you say vet people? Vet means that you have to learn how to screen them. You need to learn how to weed them out. You need to learn how to interview them. You need to learn how to process them and see what's important so that you and only you can make a determination as to whether or not they need to stay inside your life so you can see what good they bring. And for me, this is just me. Maybe this is not anybody else, but in terms of Cutler and how I think, for me, and this is just my process, if you don't get through the vetting in my life, that doesn't mean that you don't have any value, because everybody has value. You just might not have a whole lot of input into my life. This the same thing is true. I may not have a lot of value into other people's life, but it doesn't mean that I don't have value. I just might not be good for your life. Let me stop clapping like y'all can feel me clapping and hear me clapping. All right. But I'm trying to tell you, learn to vet people, learn to process them, learn to screen them, and learn to see what value they bring into your life. But just for those who listen, I'm telling you, for those who do have value, I'm keeping you in my life. Absolutely. You're staying in my life and you're staying right by my side. You're staying close to me, close to my heart, close to my mind, close to my soul. Because when I'm trying to traverse and navigate these unknown waters of life, I have to go out on the battlefield. That's the person that I want standing by my side. That's the person that I want in my life. More than the strength, I need their devotion. Because they'll say, you know what, Cutler? I don't know how we're going to do this, but man, I'm with you. And I'm devoted to you because you're my friend. I'm telling you. So, however many people you wrote in there in terms of how many best friends you have that number of people to navigate this thing called life with you, to traverse these unknown waters and charter these unknown courses with you. Keep those people close by your side, because a good friend, here's what life has taught me about a good friend. And even when we say a best friend is someone who is devoted to you and will stand up for you, even when that means standing up to a king. A good friend, a best friend is someone who is devoted for you and will stand up for you no matter who it means standing up in front of. A good friend who is devoted to you will uphold your character even when you're thrown in the pool of public opinion. A good friend who is devoted to you will lift you up even when you don't know it, when your name is being dragged through the mud. A good friend who is devoted to you all will fight with you and for you, but dare anybody else to fight against you. I'm talking about a good friend. Really, so when I say one good friend on your side, it's worth more than a whole army in your face. So I challenge us tonight, you all. I challenge us tonight to not only look for those friends, but be those friends. Be what you're looking for. Be the devotion that you're looking for out of somebody else. Be that person. I'm telling you all, I'm telling you this. And I talked about it earlier this week. There was a Bible story about these people named Jonathan and David, and Jonathan's father was a king. And when the system was set up to kill David, Jonathan challenged the king and the whole system for the sake of his friend. And he saved his life and helped him on his ascension to the throne. I'm telling you all this. This is what I know. One, one or few good friends beside you will help you defeat a whole army that is against you. I'm trying to help save somebody's life. You all learn to vet the people that you call friends and then give them the right to stand by your side. Give them the inroads to your life when they're standing by your side so that even if they don't know how to traverse where you're going, they're going with you anyhow. Even if they don't know how to navigate the waters, they don't leave you in the boat paddling all by yourself. Even if they don't see through the fog and the smog of life, they say, I'm holding your hand and we're going to do this together no matter what the outcome. One, 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 one good friend. And God bless you if you got more than one. But those who stand by your side are worth so much more than those who stand in your face. All right. I'm telling you, y'all know I only got 1,800 seconds. I've used up most of them. We're chit-chatting tonight based on our reading from Billboards to Better, 366 daily sources of motivation and inspiration along the highway of life. If you haven't, again, please go ahead and like this conversation, do a thumbs up. I want to get to our source of motivation for today, October the 6th. And that gets back to me holding up this filter. I'm going to make this filter relevant in just a moment because the writer, the author says, who happened to be me, for October the 6th says, you will never know peace until you drain the toxicity from your life. Peace is like a stream of pure water. Toxicity is like the motor oil that's drained from a car. The two were never intended to occupy the same space. Oil and water were never intended to occupy the same space. Absolutely never. And this source of motivation, you all, it is all about self-care. It is about self-maintenance. It is about self-preservation. And it is about self-love. And this, my friends, is a reminder that every now and then you have got to do self-inventory. You've got to look at the things that occupy the space on your shelves. And then you have to remind yourself that there are some things that cannot, absolutely cannot coexist in your life. Some things can't coexist in your life. I'm telling you, self-hatred and self-love can never exist in the same container. Nightmares and dreams don't happen at the same time. Ice and fire can never coexist, so they end up creating this byproduct called water that runs all over the place. Some things can never coexist in your life. Some things are not meant to occupy the same space. I hope I am inspiring somebody tonight to take inventory and introspective look at your life and get rid of the things that do not belong there. Peace and toxicity were never meant to occupy your heart or your mind or your soul or your life because they are diametrically opposed to each other. And my friend, you've got to learn how to get rid of the toxins out of your life. Why, Cutler, get rid of the toxins out of my life? Because, well, let me tell you what toxins are. Toxins are not only how we think, but toxins can be who we think. Oh my goodness. Toxins are not just how we think or how we process, but many times they are who we process. I'm telling you all, and toxins will cause you to touch victory, but only feel defeat. Toxins. Toxins will cause you to hear the sounds of joy, but only end up listening to sorrow. Toxins. Toxins in your life will cause you to look in the mirror at a winner, but only see a loser looking back. Toxins, you all, we've got to get rid of the toxins out of our lives, whether it is the way we process, whether it is how we process, or whether it is who we process. If you're going to cause me to look into a mirror at a winner, but only see a loser looking back, toxic, get out of my life. If you're going to cause me when I see victory right in front of me, but I only process it as defeat, toxic, get out of my life. If you're going to cause me to hear the sounds of joy, but still focus on the sounds of sorrow, you're toxic, get out of my life. I'm clapping like y'all can hear me, but I'm telling you all, that has to be the fervor with which you command that toxin to get out of your life. Leave my heart, my family, my body, and my soul. I'm telling you all this because we need to learn how to check and change the filters of our lives. Because if a toxin has got in, it means that we have not changed the filter of our lives. We need to learn how to check the filters and then change them. Because if you're coming and going and your egress is continually leaving a residue, then I'm changing the filter and I'm restricting your access. And that's what we have to do to the way we think and sometimes to the people who come and go in and out of our life. You're coming and going in and out of my life and you're leaving this nasty, ugly residue. Guess what? I've got to change my filter and no longer allow you in. And I'm telling you all, many of you all, some of you all know me personally, but I will say to people, I don't mind telling people, you can come in, but the mess you're bringing has to stay outside. So when you wipe your feet on the welcome mat of my life, make sure that you wipe it real good. Because if you bring a toxin inside, you and the mess can stay out. I hope I'm helping somebody, you all. Because I want us better. I want us better for this journey, this thing that we're calling a drive or a journey down the highway of life. Change the filter. And then you say, well, Cutler, how do I change the filter? How do I change the filter? It means that you have to stand apart when your house is empty and look at what the people brought. Look at what the thought processes brought. And you ask yourself, did they bring me nasty, filthy residue? Or did they bring me something that's going to help my life? Did they bring me something that would scar and hurt? Or did they bring me something that would build and uplift? You get a chance to do inventory of how people affected what they brought into your life. Absolutely. So you stand apart and you say to yourself, if you are bringing toxic stuff, you and the toxicity don't get to come in. I'm just trying to save somebody's life. You all, I told you for 1,800 seconds, I'm with you. I only have about 60 more. And so I want to end our conversation tonight. Listen, sometimes we don't like to sometimes eject, and cleaning up sometimes is hard and it hurts. And it causes us tears and it causes us to cry. But guess what? I want to give you the authority and the power and the inspiration to cry yourself right into another life. Cry yourself right into another life. So this poem that I'm going to read tonight is called Crying Another Life. And it comes from my second book, Thoughts Keep Flowing. And it reads, every day I cried because I knew what I couldn't be, what I wanted to be, what was inside of me. Dried leaves and frozen rivers, colorful dreams and spineless quivers, convoluted logic, a simple game of chance, interrupted thoughts, and unfinished dance. Every day I cried because I knew what I hoped to be, what had shaken me, what I had prayed to be, but why even bother? What's the use in trying? Why am I living? Why am I creating fiction, lying to myself, lying by myself, lying in myself, in irrational rationale? Mysterious morale. Every day I cried until I couldn't cry anymore. So I laughed. I lived. I longed. I lied. I learned. I lusted. I loved. I let go. I laughed and I lived some more. For the past 1800 seconds, this has been Cutler on the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast. And we have been building community and maintaining connectivity. So until next time we meet, I want you to keep your heads up, keep your hopes up, stay safe, stay sane, and get the toxins out of your life. Appreciate the good in every moment and appreciate the good people who stand by your side. Again, 1800 seconds. It's been my pleasure to be with you in your living room, your kitchen, your dining room, even in your car. Take care until the next time we meet.